Yeah, it's about 12:06, I believe. Yeah, I do apologize for that, but like I said, it's about 12:06. If I can just, get my thing to come down for a second. Yeah, 12:07. I got dropped off by the bus down the corner street there, just like last Saturday. Well, actually, it was before the corner stop. It was like a little before. And you could definitely tell, as I mentioned in a previous video that I did before work, and yes, this is a live as I'm walking to work. Um, Pretty much you could tell that the drivers and even the riders are kind of learning the ropes a little bit still about, the new changes and everything. And, because, last week the driver of the bus that I rode on this same route didn't have a problem dropping me off, you know, didn't have a problem dropping me off, at that corner stop, which has the S sign, has the Ride the S, the Stand RTA sign on there indicating it's a bus stop. And he said, oh, no, we just stop at the transit center now. And I'm like, okay. Hold on for a sec. Gotta get around here for a moment. Hold on. But yeah, he's like, oh, no, we don't do that now. We go to the transit center, and yet you could see, and he can plainly see, there is a Ride the S, Stand RTA sign right there next to the Turlock point, which means it's a shared stop for both Turlock Transit and Stand RTA. Now, what's funny is I got dropped off on the side, basically, like right before he turned, which he could have easily done. He could have easily done, like, okay, I'm walking down this aisle, right? I'm walking down the sidewalk here, and you see the turn right there, right? Like, as soon as I turn that, and then there's like a little corner, if you see the cars are turning, right? Like, as soon as I go beyond that bush, there's like a stop, a bus stop. Well, there's not the idea. There's like a bus stop there, and basically, what the guy could have done, because the other guy did it, is just stop there, where the stop is at, and drop me off. Not a problem. I mean, I still would have been walking like I am now, and everything, but he could have stopped there. He could have done that, but he didn't. He didn't do that. Instead, he's like, oh, no, we do. And you can kind of tell, like I said, the guy's one of those individuals that you can see has experience, but is also still learning. And what I mean by still learning is he has experience driving the routes around here, but he's still learning the new route. He's still learning how things are done here, if you will. He's still learning how things are, pretty much adjusted around. He's pretty much still trying to figure out how much more adjusted things have gotten. Or what else is that? Here. The guy get ahead of me and all that, but anyway, like I said, the bus driver, like I said, you can tell he has experience. Like I was saying, you can tell that the bus driver has, experience and everything. driving the routes, but he's still learning the new way of driving. He's still learning the more adjusted way of driving. Basically, these newer, more, I guess you could say, modified routes. That's what he's learning, being adjusted to doing, because again, when you do something for so long, job-wise, like bus driving, whatever, teaching, or in my case, retail, and you suddenly have a change in the atmosphere, like a change in your setting or even your ruling or directions, it's going to throw you off for a little bit, and it takes you time to, get readjusted. It takes you time to be like, okay, I get it. I have to do this. I have to do that. And that's understandable. That's understandable. Like, you have to, you basically have to kind of get used to, kind of practice and get used to, what you'll be doing now because of the change. And the guy, basically, like I said, you could tell he's been doing it for a bit, but there's a lot of things that have changed a lot for him and the riders, if you will, that, obviously it's still a learning process, even for the more experienced ones. I mean, yesterday, when I got off work, the guy basically, the girl that picked me up, and then the guy that, I think it was the girl that picked me up yesterday, he wanted to go to work, and then the guy that, picked me up to go home, basically the bus here, they all knew the route. They all had the route down pat and everything, so it wasn't an issue for them. It wasn't an issue, whatsoever for them. Period. It wasn't an issue. And honestly, again, again, honestly, I don't know what the problem was. And hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Like I said, it's a change in the atmosphere, it's a change in the environment, mainly when it comes to, to what's going on with the bus and everything for the rider and the drivers. It's like I said before, I had to kind of keep quiet a little bit and all that. But like I said, it's still a learning process. People are still learning, the changes with the bus system and everything. And, a good example of this, honestly, a good example of this is a good example of this, is one of the passengers that would board the bus at times. What this passenger would do is he would, stick out his, what this passenger would do is he would stick out his thumb, like, hitching a ride and everything, right? He would stick out his thumb if he's, hitching a ride and all that, basically hitchhiking, if you will. He would do that. And, in directions they would tell us about the buses, they would say that's one way to get a ride. But I always found it suspicious that the guy did it in the middle of West Main. West Main is the main, highway and street going from Patterson to Turlock, if you will. It basically transfers over. It's like when you take a slight turn, like this kind of turn here. You take a slight turn and it goes from one street to another. And the guy basically, hold on for a sec again. Got a family coming. Well, like I was saying, this one guy would basically, stick out his thumb and all that, like he's hitchhiking and everything, in the middle of West Main, because again, like I said, West Main is basically like when you turn slightly on a street, and it basically goes from being, one street to another. That's basically what West Main is. West Main basically, basically becomes what it is because the bus goes from being on Las Palmas, and as soon as it makes a little bit of a turn, it turns into West Main, if you will. I know it sounds kind of ramblish, I do apologize. But anyway, point that I'm getting at, mainly, to check my time here. But the point I'm getting at is this guy would basically stick out his arm, and his thumb, and thumb, for the bus to stop. And one of the bus drivers I used to ride with would do that. He would actually stop at the side as a courtesy stop to pick this guy up, because he's basically sticking out his arm and his thumb to say, hey, I need a ride, I need to board the bus and everything. Well, basically today, I guess this guy kind of got like a little bit of a wake-up call and all that, because what happened mainly was the bus driver, who, like I said, you could tell he's had time doing this, and he's had experience doing these routes, except as I've mentioned before, any experienced driver is still learning the new readjusted routes, like the new changes going around. So basically, and hold on for a sec, got family coming, hold on. Sorry about that, but like I said, and I know I'm rambling here a little bit, I do apologize. Like I said, I'm doing this live while I'm walking to work, and when you do stuff live and walking to a destination in public, it's a little hard to pause anything, because, of course, you're going to run into people and you don't want to cause any trouble. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at mainly is the fact that, well, long story short, to get to the point here, long story short, the guy that sticks out his arm and his thumb and everything to hitch a ride normally would get picked up when he does that by one of the other drivers I used to have. Well, basically what happened is this time around, the experienced driver, who, like I said, probably knows these routes, has an idea of what these routes are, but is still learning the changes and everything. Learning the fact that, 45 becomes 10, and, 10 becomes 45, or 15 becomes 45, stuff like that, and vice versa. Well, basically, he gets on the walkie, he gets on the CB, if you will, and he calls HQ. He calls HQ and he's like, hey guys, I have this person, sticking out the arm and thumb, for a ride. Am I supposed to do that? And here's one of the things that they used to do before they changed. Because they used to go to Gustine when I would go home, depending on the driver, they would, do what they consider a courtesy stop, a safe stop, if you will, in front of a place that's closer to your destination. So for me, it would be Burger King, because it was basically a short distance, to walk back home and everything, instead of walking from, Merced and Eucalyptus. So it'd give me a shorter time, if you will. It would give me, like I said, shorter time to, get to work and everything. Well, get to work, but to get home. So, anyway, that's what they used to do, and I guess they kind of still do that, but not much. Okay, let me correct myself. I think they still do it to an extent, but they want to focus more on the stops, on the legit stops and everything. So mainly what happens is, he asks this guy, he calls up, so the driver calls up the CB uses his walkie, his CB radio, to call headquarters and ask them about this. And they basically tell him, no, you're not supposed to do that, but it's your discretion. Like, mainly, you're not supposed to stop there, but if you want to make a courtesy stop, that's up to you. So that's what he does. But he explains to the guy, because the guy comes on board not realizing, okay, it's free this week, at least today's the last day it's free. But the guy comes on board, and the driver has to tell him, we don't do this anymore. I don't know why you're doing it, but we don't do this. So basically the driver, the passenger that did that stuck out his arm and thumb to get a ride. He basically explains to him, oh, well, they've been doing it for about 2 years and everything. They've been doing this for me for 2 years. And the driver has to say, things have changed. He basically has to tell him that. He has to say, things change and we can't do this anymore. But he basically tells him, consider it like a courtesy stop, and he basically says, look, because basically the courtesy stop, like I said, it's on them, but they're not really supposed to do it. It's like they're not supposed to make these stops, but they'll make them if it's the only way you can get a ride or you can be dropped off. That's it. Because they got to follow regulations. They got to follow rules. And I don't blame them. I really don't. But the big change there, essentially, is the fact, especially for riders like that guy, who's, I guess, been doing it for 2 years and all that. I guess the big change for them in everything is the fact that now they gotta pretty much find another way to get to work, or at least hope that get to the destination. Now, I wouldn't say work, but the destination. And I'm assuming he can only hope that next time he gets somebody that's understanding, like, oh, okay, I know who that guy is. I have no problem getting it. Because there are a lot of new rule changes, and part of those rule changes is to basically make this more streamlined, more quicker, more efficient, for the drivers and the passengers, but also to, in my opinion, kind of downgrade any potential troublemakers, like homeless, drug addicts, you name it. That's basically what this is all about. Get people to their destination in plenty of time, and all that, but also try and make it more streamlined, easy and efficient. And as I've said before in the previous video, save on gas, as well, and financially, and just go from there. And like I said, I'll admit there are a few things they have to work on. There's no doubt there are a few things they have to work on to truly be more I guess you could say, streamlined, more efficient in the long run. There are a few things that they have to do, in my opinion, before they become more streamlined, before they really, uh, get it down pat and everything, get it more, to the liking of everyone involved, passengers and drivers. Because, like I said, one of the negativities, basically, is the fact that what used to stop here, or even across the street there, doesn't stop here, late at night anymore. So now I have to basically go from the stop over there in Chili's, go to the bus stop, and go home from there. Thankfully, I've readjusted my schedule so that basically I can work with that, and my job can work with that as well. I guess people like honking horns or something right now or something. But like I said, my job could work with that as well. So yeah, I honestly, I'm getting used to it. Like I said, I think there are just a few things that have to be worked out, in the long run for everybody involved, so that, things work out even better than what they are now. That's just my opinion. And hold on for a second, I'll try to cross here. Hold on. Like I said, that's just my opinion, that, all they have to do is work on a few other adjustments here and there, and they should be okay, in my opinion. And they should be all right, in my opinion, to move forward even better and make business even better for themselves and, everybody else, involved. I know I repeated myself a lot saying involved and all that. I do apologize. But you get the idea. Today obviously will be the last time I take Lyft or Uber, depending on if I can take it, because that being going home and all that, because of the fact that, well, long story short, Lyft and Uber, well, let's just say they have a lot to learn, mostly in the whole payment situation. But it does prove one thing. It does prove why Uber is a lot more popular than Lyft. You see, Uber takes the money out almost immediately. And, that's what they did the other night when I had to take them over Lyft, because Lyft, despite me, scheduling the ride in advance, denied me. And they said, oh, there's an issue with your payment deal. And I'm like, what issue is there? I have money in there. But they denied me, and so I ended up getting Uber. And Uber was a bit lesser, probably about $3.50 less. But yeah, they denied me. So if there's one, so obviously it does show you why Uber's more popular, because they take the money out instantly, even though they still kind of fall into the same issues that Lyft does, and that is the fact that they need to not deny people access to getting a ride home. That if they have the money in, and everything to get a ride, then they should give them a ride. And that's all I'm going to say on it. That's all really I'm going to say on it. It shouldn't be an issue of, oh, well, you don't have the money, or we want to make certain and all that. It's like, hey, if they're booking, to me, it's like if they're going online, going on the phone and booking 2 rides in advance, then it proves that they probably have the money to do so. So I don't know what the problem, is, or what the issue is, and all that. So, yeah, again, though, I think the advantage Uber has over Lyft is they take the money out instantly. Lyft, they mainly wait several days, like 48 hours at least, which some would say is a positive, but some would say is a negative, because it's like, what if we have bills to pay and all of a sudden you take out the money before we get the bills paid? It's like, that doesn't make any sense, so again, I think that's why people prefer Uber a little bit over Lyft, because it's instant transaction right there. But I'll try to get a lift today because I'm off at 5:45, and by the time I get off, my bus will to go home will already be gone, basically. Unless they can let me out early, and then I can do it that way. you, know, it's up to them. But yeah, it's one of those situations to where right now I just gotta, deal with what I got. Deal with what we have, and everything. Just deal with it as best we can. But yeah, it's one of those situations to where basically I just, like any, just gotta, just get through it one last time possibly tonight with Lyft and Uber, or Lyft or Uber, basically. Just get through it one more time. But yeah, it's an issue that both companies, in my opinion, need to address, and they need to address, immediately, so that there's no trouble whatsoever. But you know what? I don't have to worry about that after today, hopefully, because my schedule, like I said, has been readjusted, and it's going to work out hopefully in my favor. The only thing I have to readjust is Sunday mornings, to let them know, hey, if you want me, you're going to have to bring me in maybe about 11:15, 11:30, and work to at least 4 at the latest, because it's like, yeah, you schedule me a little later than that or a little earlier than that, I'm not going to be able to make it, because the way the bus routes work, basically, it's like they'll pick me up at 6:41 or 8:56 or whatever, but I won't get to my job until about 4 or 5 minutes later. And that, and what I mean by 4 or 5 minutes later, I mean 4 or 5 minutes after I'm scheduled to clock in. And that's one thing I do not want, honestly. I mean, look, it won't matter much, but yeah, I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to take that chance. So yeah, overall, not too bad or anything, not too bad or shabby or anything like that. When it, comes to, getting to work and everything bus-wise, except, like I said, the few things that have to be adjusted, have to be adjusted in a way that works out for both parties. But yeah, today is the last day, as far as I know, that I'll be doing Lyft or Uber. And, that's a blessing right there, because that saves me a lot of money in the long run, thank God. That's one less possible overdraft, So thank God on that. And, yeah, just looking forward to what this new lifestyle, this new adjustment for work, getting to work and getting home is going to be like now in the long run. I just have to, get really adjusted to it. And right now there goes the 15 that I just saw, and that's going to turn into possibly the 45 to go back to Newman. But yeah, it's been interesting, and what's even crazier is I'm going to be off, as far as my schedule goes. I'm going to be off tomorrow, of course, and Monday. But it's because it's that time of year right now where things kind of slow down, and there's not much really going on unless a sunburst in business happens. So Sunday and Monday I'm off, Tuesday I work, Wednesday I'm off, Thursday I work, Friday and Saturday I'm off, because originally I was supposed to work a week from today, but what happened is my mom scheduled us to get our taxes taken care of. And the reason I know this is because I'm on the bus the other day, and all of a sudden I see this text show up saying, hey, you got this scheduled for March 25th. So I'm like, okay, what is this? So I call my mom, so I text her, ask her if she did this. She calls me back and says, yeah, I did. She says, yeah, so she's like, yeah, I did schedule it and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, see what I can do. So I posted my schedule, basically seeing if somebody would take it, and obviously somebody did. And then the next day, I had to post it again because I was scheduled to go in on Sunday, but they had me set up for 10 to 4 or 10 to 4:15. Now, the 4:15 part isn't a problem. It's the 10 o'clock, because 8:56, it would have gotten me here at 10:04. more than likely. Not that I have a problem with that. Not that I have a problem with that, but still, it's like I don't want to be late on a Sunday just in case it gets really busy. So I basically posted that, and I was thinking, obviously I'm thinking, they probably won't change that. They probably won't get picked up, or they won't take it off, and kind of working me on that. But no, it's been removed, and I don't work on Sunday either, which is the 26th. So yeah, it's one of those times where the schedule kind of gets a little wonky, here and there. Like I think Monday, I think on the 27th, the 28th, and the 26th, 27th, and 28th I don't work, but then in the middle of the week I do. And then, no, actually, I think it's more along the lines of Monday and Tuesday. I don't. It's kind of weird. I can think I'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. I gotta look at it again, but it's one of those kind of schedules at this time of year where it's like you get more time off, and sometimes time off, you don't expect to get, but you get it anyway. But yeah, things have definitely changed, and it's been interesting in these past 2 weeks with the bus route schedule and the readjusting of my work schedule to work with it. And we'll just see what happens from there. I can tell you one thing right now, though. You can definitely feel that spring's around the corner, because spring does officially start Monday. You can feel it because it's already feeling like it right now, as we speak, with the warm weather and everything. And me wearing this, it's not ideal, but what are you going to do? Anyway, that's all I'm going to really say, guys. I know I sound like I rambled a lot doing this. I was, of course, like I said, doing it while I'm walking in public, from the bus stop area to, on Tovely and Folkworth and, here in Turlock to get to my job. So I do apologize if I rambled a bit, kind of was, on and off here and there, kind of like, saying hold on for a sec because, I was walking by people and everything. But I just wanted to do this little Saturday afternoon vlog today for the 18th of March, 2023. And hope you guys all have a good rest of your Saturday. I hope you all had a safe St. Patrick's Day, and hope to have a yesterday as well as this weekend. And yeah, really, that's all I can say, guys. But, comment below what your thoughts are on everything I had to talk about if you want to. I will try to get you an audio version of this down the line so you guys can check that out. But overall though, guys, just wanted to do this little vlog, give you a little bit of content for today, before I work and before I go home today. But again, let me know what your thoughts are on what I had to say. Let me know if you've ever had to deal with this kind of stuff in the past, and everything. And how do you feel about, these kind of changes at buses to where now the courtesy stops or safety stops are pretty much, they're still there, but not, as utilized as much because of the new rulings. Let me know down below, comment if you like. And until next time, guys, like I said, have a good Saturday. I'm going to try to get something to eat. I got about 20 minutes before I clock in, so I'm going to try to get something to eat before I do. So until next time, I am out.